Hello. Hello, hello. Oh my god. It is darkness. Can't see anything. That's cool. We'll fix that in a moment. I already set the game capture to capture the correct game. So all we need to figure out is how the volume is, and we should be good. Rather, let me see. So now I am inside the game. I cannot hear the music. Oh, there is the music. Cool. Oh, I see it. Very nice. I can see. I can fight. All right. So, hello and welcome everybody to Heroes of Might and Magic 5. So the original game is from 2006, and you can clearly see the improved graphics compared to Heroes 3. That's one big difference already, but the differences will basically never stop, so might get used to that for now. Yeah, so a very epic, one of the first things that, you know, immediately catches your eye whenever you load up this game is this epic cinematic that is happening. It loops, by the way. You can see that, you know, there's this giant monster attacking the castle, and people are constantly running in. I don't know what these tiny dudes are thinking. Why do they think they can stand up to this monstrosity? But yeah, they keep coming. The Cyclops, this is a Cyclops, by the way, this is this game's version of a Cyclops, keeps just slapping them away. Blap! It just swats the bird out of the sky like it's a fly of some kind. And yeah, this just continues, and this loops also, so that this will never stop. He will always keep attacking. These guys will always keep shooting him and never hit him. I think he gets hit by like a couple arrows maybe, but yeah, ultimately it's for naught. He will just keep standing there and fighting them forever. Already quite an incredible sight to behold. Alright, so we need to... The thing I will probably do today is try to create a... Yes, so generate a new map, which yes, this game does in fact have a map generator. The problem being that, you know, this the maps are a little bit less varied than they are in Heroes 3, because there aren't too many templates to generate the map from. Also, yeah, let me know if the music is too loud or something, because I have no idea. Might be, it does feel kind of too loud in my ears, so I'll just reduce the general volume for now. A little bit. I'll probably generate an Excel map. Underground, yes, you can, of course, as always, you can set the underground to absent or present. You can go, okay, monster level. Let's put it to strong because we are masochists. Custom template, yeah, see, this is one. Continue. So there are some templates, but I have no idea how to use them or what they even mean. So I'm not gonna do that quite yet. And you know, also set random towns to true, because, you know, random towns just means that basically when the game starts you can either leave your town as random or choose it yourself, which I'd like to do. Which, if you don't set this thing to true, then you will not be able to choose the town. You can only be only be able to choose the player you control. But by the way, speaking of players, we're probably going to go for 8, because I mean, why not? As per usual. Yeah, click create. Game is gonna freeze for a second as the map is being created. And as it's finished, we should see the mini-map. We should kind of see what the map looks like. It's possible to hide that, so as to not give yourself an unfair advantage, but I prefer to look at it because I like to start off somewhere that I wouldn't get into too much trouble for. Basically, I'd like to start on a terrain where I won't incur too much penalty, and I currently cannot see anything of the sort on the map, so I'm pretty sure this is, yeah, the terrains are, this is all underground. Of course, this is like, there's like gray underground and there's black underground. I have no idea what the difference actually is between those. I don't remember right now. Let's call this map Stream Map 01. Yeah, so above ground you can see that I think this is like the taiga terrain. There was the desert, there was snow, which we're definitely not starting on snow, because that is kind of incredibly counterproductive unless you start with a specific faction in mind. But yeah, okay, am I actually audible? Okay, I am definitely audible, very good. Yeah, so we're probably going to be starting in the underground, which I've normally never done. You know what? No, actually, yeah. I'll make another map, because I'd like to, for there to be some grass terrain, because I think above ground just looks prettier, and while I'm pretty sure the underground, there might be like minimal penalty that you incur for traversing it, I'd rather start above ground on grass because there is no penalty at all for traversing grass, and it looks really good as well. So give me another second. There you go. I think this is supposed to be grass. Well, even if it isn't, I'm still going to pretend like it is, at least until we load the game up. So yeah, stream map 01. Save it. Hopefully not have the game crash here, and yeah. We are probably going to be starting as yellow in this case because of the because of specifically this one thing that is grass. So difficulty will crank all the way up to heroic, because why not? Look ahead depth, this is, yeah. So I am not just using the final expansion for the game, which is called Tribes of the East, as the stronghold faction, in addition to some general improvements. But I'm not just using that, I'm also using a mod called Eternal Essence, which greatly improves the AI's performance. Because normally, the biggest the biggest thing that stops you from playing random maps and playing this game at all is that eventually the AI gets kind of hung up, and just certain AI turns could take up to like 10 minutes as it tries to figure out where to go and what to do. So I'd like for the AI not to do that, so I'm using the Eternal Essence mod, which improves it drastically and allows the AI to go a lot faster. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Hey, hello Sidewinder, welcome. You're just in time, because I will need you right now. I mean, I always need you, of course, so you're always welcome, but right now especially, as you're about to see, neutral champions. Can I turn that crap off? Okay, I think I can. Artifact guard, stacks of the... yeah, don't need to set any of that. I'm pretty sure this will just be disabled. Yeah, Heroes 5 won. Now, there was a total of 4 votes, I think, which is a little bit sad, but, you know, I suppose it is enough. But yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So a total of 4 votes. There's 3 votes for Heroes 5, and nobody voted for multiplayer. I guess everybody just got scared at the fact that I said it was going to be physically painful. So yeah. Alright, so now we need to figure out what faction we're going to be playing and possibly what hero. So yeah, the factions in this game are a little bit different from the factions that that you see in Heroes 3. Although some of them are extremely similar. But yeah, we'll see it in a second. So we've got, first and foremost, of course, there's Haven. These are humans. This faction is basically just Castle from Heroes 3. The only difference, the lineup is basically, the creature lineup is basically the same. The only big difference is that their level 1 creatures used to be pikemen, and now they are replaced with peasants who are still almost just as trash as they were in Heroes 3. Then you got Inferno. Of course, Inferno also very similar to the Inferno from Heroes 3, except they've got some creatures are different. For example, there are no like Gogs, you know, these guys that throw fireballs. Instead, you've got much higher level shooters, which throw fireballs. But generally, I think Inferno is about the same thing as before. They are all about fast attack. And also they've got an extremely powerful level 6 unit in this game, which sounds really weird when you consider that they had Ifriti in Heroes 3 who are already incredibly powerful, you know, super fast, and when you upgrade them they return damage to all the enemies they face. But yeah, in this game they've got an even more powerful unit, but yeah, basically still the same thing, demons of hell, in this case literally demons of hell, unlike the third game where they were actually alien invaders who were planning to strip mine the planet. But yeah, in this case they are actual demons from hell, and they are pretty spooky. Then you've got Necropolis. Necropolis again, same thing, undead. The lineup is also basically the same as Heroes 3. The biggest difference is that basically the level 6 unit. Instead of these awesome Black Knights and Dread Knights, in this game they are replaced with somewhat lackluster Grim Reaper type creatures, who are actually called Wights and Wraiths in this case. So Wights and Wraiths went from level 3 to level 6, but on level 3 you just got Ghosts, who are basically the same thing as the Wights were before, except extremely annoying. Much more annoying, because they have an ability that gives all of the enemies who attack them a chance to miss the attack, which means the attack will do nothing. Then you've got Sylvan. This is the equivalent of Heroes 3's Rampart. Again, you've got elves, elven archers, you've got unicorns, you've got tree people, you've got green dragons. The big difference is that there are no more dwarves or centaurs. They are all in different factions in this game. Instead, they're just replaced with more elves, basically. And then you've got Dungeon, who is, well, basically, again, the equivalent of Dungeon from Heroes 3, but there are no more, like, troglodytes and all that stuff, but no more humans either. They are just, in this game, they are dark elves, and a lot of their units are actually, like, dark elf units. They are quite different from Heroes 3. Basically, these guys are are designed after the Dark Elves from Warhammer, and I mean Fantasy Warhammer, not Warhammer 40,000. So quite a big difference there. And yes, they've got all this like dressed in this like BDSM gear, and look quite sus, but still they are pretty cool. Especially because, you know, they're low tier creatures, like low level creatures, level 1, level 2, are much more powerful than those of other factions, and they are more expensive, and there are much fewer of them, which sometimes ends up being a problem. But it's a really cool mechanic, because it makes it seem like basically all of their units are like elite compared to the counterparts of the other factions. Then you've got Academy. This is the equivalent of the Tower faction from Heroes 3. These guys are the Wizards. Again, the Wizards make a triumphant comeback, except this time they live in flying cities in the middle of a desert. You know, before they lived in really tall cities in the snowy tundra, and now they live in flying cities in a desert. The lineup is, again, almost exactly the same, except you know, in Heroes 3 they had, at level 6 they had Nagas, you know, snake ladies with 6 arms. In this game, they instead have Rakshasa, which are basically the same thing. Still no retaliation while attacking enemies, but yeah, instead of snake ladies with 6 arms, these are lion people with 4 arms. Then you've got Fortress. This Fortress is completely different from the Fortress in Heroes 3. It's still based mostly on defense, but instead of swamp, they moved to the snowy tundra, and instead of lizard people and hyena people, it's all dwarves. That's right, we've got an entire faction of dwarves now. You've got dwarves who are small and just stand there and attack. You've got dwarves who are really big and teleport around. You got dwarves who ride bears. You got dwarves who throw spears. Like, basically, I want to say, yeah, 6 out of 7 units for this faction are some variation of dwarf. but they are all quite different from each other, at least, so there is that. And finally there is Stronghold, which is again this pretty much the same thing as Stronghold from Heroes 3, but some differences in the lineup. Of course, behemoths are nowhere to be seen. Instead, they are replaced by the crushing power of Cyclopses, which you see one Cyclops there behind the menu just raking everybody for like half an hour now. And yeah, centaurs are also moved to this faction instead of the Sylvan, and they can shoot, which is pretty spectacular. So yeah, for any people who are watching, I'd like you to cast your votes again right now and tell me which faction you'd like to see. So would you like to see normal humans, or demons of hell, or undead, or wood elves, or dark elves, or wizards, or dwarves upon dwarves, riding dwarves, teleporting dwarves, and or just those barbarian dudes, orcs, goblins, and all that. So let me know. I'll give you a minute to decide. Because I'd be excited to play any of them, you know. I really enjoy Heroes 5, so I'd be delighted delighted to show you any of them. You say, so Sidewinder says Inferno or Dungeon, okay. Fair enough. Does anybody else want to comment here? Sorry. Oh. Yeah, I'm still a little bit sick. I am getting better. I hope you all are well too. But yeah, right now we need to decide exactly what we're going to be doing. I would probably prefer, between Inferno and Dungeon, I would personally prefer Dungeon probably, but if anybody else has got other ideas, then I am more than willing to listen. Yeah, by the way, I'm not sure if you saw the Sidewinder, but yeah, this cutscene that we see playing behind us, this is just the this is what the main menu looked like. Like, if we remove this giant leaf, which we actually can, it's no problem. Yeah, here. I will just go back in when we decide on the faction. So yeah, this is the main menu. This is what the main menu looks like. This is a constant battle. Awesome, like, graphics. You can see there's like stuff falling, there's friggin' birds getting swatted out the air. This yeah, and